Should be just a moment while we get them counted down.
All right.
So I think I think we can already start with the runner introduction because the run's going to be filled with a bunch of stuff that we probably have to explain. So we have Jeremy, Mario Kart Wii, Milan, JT Not, and Mars. Yeah. So no, 1 sec. Okay, so JT Not is going. Well, everyone, JT Not, Marso2, Jeremy, MKW, they all are gonna go for a 1 and 1-1 and 1-2 grab to get the Fire Flower. And Milan is doing another strat, which is usually also in tournaments, which is the small Fire Mario strat. You will see them being played pretty when the race starts. Yeah.
Yeah, and once that small Fire Mario is like a glitch that will explain its uses later on, but yeah, they're all just doing some safe power-up grabs at the start, except for Miniland is doing his own separate strat. Yeah. And all these runners do have very good, like pretty solid Warpless times. Jeremy has all the way up to a 1904, which is a top 10 time. Same with JT, also has a 1904. Miniland's PB is a 1913. And then, I'm not sure about Mars's PB. I need to check on that. I think he has a 1903.
Yes, he has a 1903. So
yeah,
Mars is actually 4th place. And I think he only recently got. Oh, the runners are actually starting right now.
Perfect.
So you can see they're all grabbing, except for Milan, they're all grabbing the mushroom in 1-1, which makes Milan go ahead of them. So we have they're doing some syncing of the runners. Actually, yeah. Yeah, Mars is seeming to lag a little behind.
But then, for those of you who don't know, the reason you grab power-ups at all in the first place is because, along with the fact that it is just safer, like you have that extra, like you can take damage and not totally die, it actually also saves time, because in every -4 level, so for 1-4, 2-4, and 3-4, and etc., there's a Bowser at the end, and you can kill him with 5 fireballs. And if you don't kill him, when you grab the axe end, you have to watch an animation of Bowser falling into like a pit and dying, and it takes a few seconds, so it's faster to kill Bowser. So then you don't have to watch that animation. But then also, like you had just seen many of the players doing 1-2, you can like just shoot a bunch of enemies, shoot a bunch of piranha plants, get them out of the way. So along with actually saving time, it does make the whole run a lot easier.
So Miniland just grabbed his first mushroom in 1-3, and he'll be doing the glitch, that kind of glitches Mario's sprite into getting him the small Fire Mario. We will see that in a moment, how he does it, and then we can probably explain it afterwards.
Yeah, it'll probably be best to explain once he actually gets the glitch and gets small fire.
Which happens right at the axe with Bowser. You gotta look at it.
So you'll see all 3 runners killing Bowser, and then Miniland takes damage from Bowser and hits the axe at the same time. And you saw his sprite kind of flashing around.
But he's still big.
Yeah, and then at the start of 2-1, you'll see something interesting if you keep an eye on Miniland. He's big Mario, yeah. He's grabbing a mushroom, getting smaller.
And now it's gonna spawn a Fire Flower, and if he picks up, he's gonna be small Fire Mario, and that's how the glitch works. And if you can see, when he shoots, his sprite is, for the frame he shoots, his sprite is actually turning big, because they never made because this glitch obviously wasn't intended. So the sprite for shooting is still big, but it actually doesn't register, so the hitbox is still slow and still small.
Yeah, and that's the main point of this, is the other 3 runners have a larger hitbox that's twice as big. So it's just gonna be like harder to move around enemies in some levels, especially sometimes in these water levels and in 2-3 and 7-3, which are there's a lot of flying jeeps, along with everywhere else. Compared to Miniland, we'll have this smaller hitbox, so he never has to deal with crouch jumping or anything, and you can always shoot fireballs whenever you want. So it's just like it's the way to go, just like a little bit easier, and it does lose a bit of time at the beginning, but
it's usually also done by beginner players that start out playing Warpless. Some people just do it. They're like the 3 main strats, which are completely small only, without a fire flower. Then there's the big Mario that Jeremy, JT0, and Mars are doing, and then there's the small fire Mario, which I think now is like done by the most beginner players because it like gives you the advantage of the fire flower, but still it keeps you at a smaller hitbox, which that way you don't get hit that easily. So yeah.
Well, there is one downside. If you can, all you have a fire, go to the bigger hitbox, and then it's going to look like Big Mario, but you actually, like, according to the game, really are small Mario. So then if you're going to have a big hitbox, and it's going to be really easy to get hit, and then if you do get hit, then you die. And then after you die, the glitch goes away, and then you go back to normal small Mario. So it's not as hit, but then if you do get hit, it can be a lot worse. And then one other thing is on all these Bowser you're seeing, Bowser can have a going forwards, or he'll jump backwards, or he'll like jump backwards a little bit and then turn around and go forward. And basically randomized. So you'll see the players reacting to which direction he jumps, and sometimes running under Bowser from the right, sometimes like bonking into an L or a little platform to help like slow down. Very well. There have been very little to no mistakes. Definitely no major mistakes so far.
So because of Miniland doing the waiting on the axe for Bowser to hit him, he lost some time there, and that sets Miniland a little bit behind. But in a race that is going on for 20 minutes, a lot of stuff can happen for everyone, not depending on which strat you go for. So we will see how this plays out. It's gonna be interesting. I would love to see a sub 20 time. So if someone gets a 19-minute time, that would actually be very nice to see.
And so far, they're on great.
Yeah, I don't think there was so far like a single mistake, even though JT is a little bit ahead, I think. So they had to do little mistakes somewhere, but they're pretty close to each other. So I'm pretty sure they all challenged those potaboos that you saw there, which is kind of risky to go for. Thanks to a user, I'm pretty sure it's Darpy, there is a spreadsheet to see which patterns the potaboos give you on every frame rule. Oh, we should explain the frame rule system. Do you want to do that, Quiller?
Yeah, I can do that. So, there's a strange mechanic in this game where the game essentially only checks to see if you've completed a level every 21 frames, which is about a third of a second. So, as a famous analogy by legendary SMB1 speedrunner Darbian, is imagine a bus that takes you from the end of one level to the start of the next level every third of a second, or like a bus arrives and takes the level every third of a second. So depending on how fast you did the level, sometimes you'll arrive at the end of the level right as the bus shows up, and then it'll take you straight there. But if you miss the bus by just a frame, or just like a tenth or a fifth of a second or whatever, you have to wait for the next bus, and then you're gonna lose a third of a second. So what this means for high level gameplay for Warpless is you can know basically like you can like go for a very specific time and likely get that time because you know like exactly what frame rule you're gonna save in each level. And then RNG in this game is also almost entirely based off of time. So then you can know things such as Bowser patterns and stuff if you know what frame to be on, which is what Leon was just saying, is there's a spreadsheet that has lots of Bowser and Potaboo patterns listed based on the frame rule. So you can just like split, look at your timer, and then look at the spreadsheet, and it'll tell you what Bowser pattern you're in.
Yeah, you're usually adding a comparison to live split, which is what the one side shows your current best splits and the other one shows.
And JT not taking damage to 4-4 Bowser.
Let's see if JT goes now small only, so we have all the different strats, or if he's trying to go ahead and pick up Fire Flower again. I would.
There is lots of power-ups in 5-2, and there's still 3 more Bowsers he has to kill, so I'd suspect he's gonna get power-ups again.
Yeah.
We'll see. Especially with World 6 coming up. World 6, you're gonna lose a lot of time. Just because there's so many tricky jumps to do if you went small only. But so far, Jeremy being ahead of the rest by just a bit. Mars is just behind Jeremy. And we do JT not grabbing a power up.
Yeah, he's grabbing a power up.
And there's another Fire Flower right coming up right here. I think he's gonna grab. Yep. Ooh. A little bit of slip up recovering from that fire grab, but it's okay. Doesn't lose that much time.
Also, you might see, because you might usually think they usually always touch the top of the flagpole, but sometimes you will see them slow down because they might get a 1-3. Actually, a 1 doesn't matter, but they get a 3 or a 6 on the end of the counter of the time. Because when they get a 3 or a 6, they either get 3 or 6 fireworks, depending on what the number is, and that loses a good amount of time. With one firework, that is, they don't really lose much time because it's kind of like the same if they would slow down.
And then one other thing we'd like to mention is there is a donation incentive goal for these same players to do an 80%. And currently we're just $20 away from that donation incentive. And if we do that, we can see these players do an 80% race of this game. And many of these players have very, very good 80% times as well. So you're definitely going to want to watch that.
Yeah, the best one out of all those 4, I believe, is Miniland with a 456.528, the same as the Legend Darbian. Which is 11th place. Then we have, I'm pretty sure, JT Not with a 456.861, which I don't really know what place that is.
Yeah, I think that's somewhere around like 6th-ish, or maybe like 15th or 14th, somewhere around there. But a very fun.
It is 14th place, yeah. And then we have Jeremy with also another 456.944, which is 18th place. And then we have Mars with a 458.653, which is 84th.
And I think we are caught up talking all about this, but I think Miniland took damage at some point and then just finished collecting power-ups back in 6-2.
Oh, yeah.
So Jeremy still has now a very, very good lead over everyone else. Then Mars is behind by a bit. JT Not behind by a few more seconds, and then Miniland trailing behind as well. Like we talked about earlier, getting small fire loses some time. Then if you take damage, it can be kind of risky to get some power ups back. Wow, JT Not just got some interesting bullet bills, but had a very nice save.
Yeah, he kind of had to slow down a bit, but
That was a very good save.
Yeah, he saved it really well. So you can see
Mars getting some bad bars. And then Nat on 7-4 and 8-4, Bowser throwing
I
cameras.
think did Miniland die or did he take damage again?
I'm not sure. I was watching some of the other runners.
But
we'll see if he collects here.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he actually lost. He died once, and he's going for small only. It seems like because he did not collect that power up.
There are few other good spots to get power. Still are many power-ups, but many of them are not too fast. 7-3 has a good power-up grab. 7-2 has none. 7-1, a couple slow power-ups. I think maybe just one.
Yeah, and 7-2 and 7-3 are like a little harder versions than, but they are basically they have the same layout as 2-2 and 2-3. So they will probably seem familiar because we just had them in World 2.
They're just gonna have a few more enemies. 7-2 will just have some extra enemies and some more squid. And then 7-3, you'll see all the same cheeps, but there's a lot more Koopas added on the ground and stuff, just to make it a little bit more challenging.
So JT is actually not having the best RNG, but thanks to the Fire Flower, he can shoot away those cheeps quite easily. So it's getting a pretty scary blooper right there.
And then another disadvantage to not having fire you'll see from Miniland is he's not going to be able to shoot away any of these enemies. Sometimes you get bad patterns that are hard to avoid. In almost all cases, it's technically possible to just not slow down the entire time in water, but it can just be very difficult and very risky too.
Yeah.
Wow, Mars doing some great job of avoiding some cheats.
Oh, and Mars.
Oh, and he takes damage.
And Miniland actually got the same troll blooper that JT did.
And Mars got... So, there's a very, very rare cheat where you get a cheat that shoots very, very late and use it into the floor and do a trick called full FP.
Or
and it's
CCT.
Extremely difficult, so he wouldn't... But it's just very rare, very...
But now Jeremy is actually ahead by a good amount of all people. Mars, even though he took damage, is still pretty close to him. But you can see right there, the animation will also lose him some seconds. And Jeremy just entered the last world and is an 8-1. 8-1 is actually like a really hard level in any percent, but thanks to the Fire Flurry, as you might see, he can just snipe away those piranha plants really easily. So everyone except Miniland, who's also getting into World 8, is in World 8 now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty impressed that Jeremy managed to... I think JT lost Fire Flower as well, but he managed to pick it up and did lose it again. And Jeremy did not lose Fire Flower the whole time, which is pretty cool.
And again, Jeremy having a pretty safe lead over everyone else. And he is on very good pace. He's had a very clean run.
Yep, he has a very clean run. And you can see in A3 as well. And any percent, especially if you don't know what frame you're gonna arrive on, those hammer rolls are pretty scary. But he's just sniping them away again.
There's a rare hammer roll you can get at these last 4, where it'll jump up and it'll kind of like land on you, and it can be hard to avoid without slowing down. But it's not too difficult to put down and kill it and not lose much time. And it's really rare, so if you have fire, this level is basically nothing to worry about.
And Jeremy's entering the last level, so is JT.
I think he's going to be on 19.1x page. Maybe he's on very good. He might be on even 1909 page. We're going to go for a trick called wall jump here. Jeremy will.
There, he got it. It's a 2-frame window to jump off that pipe, so it's pretty hard.
And the game runs at 60 frames a second. And then doing a wrong warp here, he jumps over and then turns around and goes back in that pipe.
JT also got the wall jump.
It's not intended to take you to this water room, but we do a little glitch to make it so it does. And then you also see by Jeremy. He does a glitch to decrease his hitbox size. And then Will Bowser let him through.
The Potable was kind of bad, but that would have actually been a 0x if he wouldn't have gotten it. But that's still a really good time.
Yeah.
By Jeremy.
We'll see JT Not if he challenges the Potable or Bowser. Not challenging Potable.
He's not challenging both of them, but he's finishing with a 1926.
Oh, Mars just behind Miniland.
Whoa, I did not even notice. That's actually really close. 2 seconds.
Yeah. Miniland also having a very good turnaround for a difficult trick that helps you accelerate fast. Scroll green, what's called perfect pixel, which is the minimum amount you can scroll with that wrong warp trick to work. And then we'll see if you finish on.
And
again, not
everyone got a sub 20, which is really good from all
the
runners.
Amazing. So congratulations to everyone. Wow. GG's to everyone.
So let's see if we achieved the goal of doing an any percent run, and we're still $20 away.
So, final time to get in those last donations. If you want to see that any percent run, we have many talented any percent runners in here.
Yep, we're real close, just 20 away from getting this thing met. Let me see if we can get one in right now. We can do this any percent run. This any percent race. Let me see what the players have to say about it. For their contribution to the Super Mario Maker 2 bonus level coming up tomorrow. And we are also, well, most of the way there towards our first sub goal, or first goal within out of the 15,000, we set a goal at 1,000, which we call easy mode. We set a goal at 5,000 called novice mode. We set a $10,000 goal called hard mode, and then $15,000 is expert mode. Let's see if we can unlock at least easy mode. We have to at least unlock easy mode, which I hope we'll be able to do today. Let me give it one more refresh and see if we can get the donations in for that. All right, I see the confusion. The problem is the way we haven't like this is the first time we've done this on Tiltify, and I guess the way their incentives are set up is they will disappear over time. So that's why you can't find it if you're trying to donate. If someone wants to donate for it, though, just do a regular donation and write it in the comments, and we'll count it towards that. And it looks like we're probably going to get this run. So let me let the runners know so that they can prepare for it.
I'm glad we got this 80% run going.
80% is just like 5 minutes of insanity. Like, it's very optimized. Even in races, it's gonna look pretty impressive what the runners are gonna do.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. In 80%, getting a fire flower and power-ups does not necessarily save time. It only loses a couple seconds, and it can definitely be very safe. But also, many of these players are very extent at all the trick for if they did a small only 80% run. But again, that is more risky, so we're gonna have to wait and see. Many of these players booting up 8.4 and trying some practice.
And Minion is trying to do a double fast excel, which in the room you saw in 8.4.
67. Wow.
That's kind of fast. 68. And fast. Did you explain what fast excel was? Not really, probably. Like fast excel.
Briefly.
Fast excel is when because of the physics of how the game works, Mario accelerates faster when he's backwards, and that's why sometimes when coming out of a pipe or when stopping midway in the level, they can go to running speed faster if they turn around and just jump for a very brief and close moment, a very, very short moment, because if they are backwards, they speed up faster.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see JT now trying to do a flagpole glitch.
Mm-hmm. And flagpole glitch, Jeremy was also just trying a moment ago. It's a trick where you have to clip into the block in the base of the flagpole, and then you grab the flagpole from inside the block, and then for whatever reason, it makes the flag not come down. It's not super well known, but then you don't have to watch the animation of the flag sliding down, and it's about around 3 to 5 frame perfect inputs. Some of them have a little bit of leniency, but it is very difficult. But if you ever watch the 80% world record, that'll do 3 flagpole glitches in the run, as well as a full flagpole glitch, which is kind of like an extended version of that in 8.2, as well as many other wall clips. The 80% run is extremely optimized.
All right, so the donation was met. Thank you very much, Emok81, and for your $20 donation, and to Sailor Jade for your $20 donation. And it looks like the players will be going in just a second. We're giving them the countdown.
They're already at the title screen, except Jeremy.
Yeah, one of the runners had to fix some internet issues, so I think they should be good now.
Okay, it looks like we're on our... Oh, and Mars is starting, and so is everyone except JT, who's... Oh, he's also started. Okay, everybody started.
It'll be a minute for the run to get lined up.
Yeah.
Wow, we see only Marzo2 doing big fire strats. Marzo2 does do a lot of other longer categories. I think I've seen him do like Mario Hour and stuff like that, or multiple classic Mario games, so he's probably used to doing safe strats a lot more. So we'll see how all these runs progress.
So he's picking up Fire Flower because of the same reasons we explained in Warpless, and everyone else is going slow, which is it's going small, which is faster because you don't have to pick up the items.
Mhm. But then these first few worlds and levels will not be too bad with Small Mario. 1-2 has a couple pipe jumps, which is where you land on the lip of the pipe right next to a piranha plant. And despite the fact that Mario's sprite kind of overlaps with a piranha plant sprite, this piranha plant sprite is actually very, very, very small compared to its sprite. So you can get real up close to it and not take damage. You'll see it over here. These jumps over these pipes might look kind of crazy, but they're very, very trivial. The pipe jumps where you have to land on the lip of the pipe and jump off, though, those are quite difficult. And there's quite a few in 8-1.
So I was thinking, we had all sub 20s. Can we get at least one to do a sub 5?
A sub 5 would be incredible.
That would be that happens very rarely for a tournament.
So here you're going to see a major time save that these runners are doing called wrong warping. You're going to see them either backwards bumping against walls, or in the case of Mars, he did a different glitch. But the goal was to get Mario farther on the right of the screen than he's supposed to. And then you go down a pipe that's supposed to take you to an underground, but because Mario is so far to the right of the screen, it basically tricks the game into thinking that you're supposed to go up to this warp zone, and that skips this big, long vine climbing animation. But now we may see some of these runners. Yep, JT not going for these pipe jumps. Very, very, very risky. And then Marzo2 is able to shoot all these shoot all these piranha plants, having no issues running through this level. But he did lose time earlier. JT going for all of the pipe jumps.
Is JT, if he gets this end boy right here, he got it. He will end up with a. I think that was perfect by JT, right?
Yeah, there's complicated mechanic called judges in this, so he might lose a frame roll here, even though playing perfect. But yeah, all these runners on very good pace. 80% races is stuff where it's kind of like they're all going to be within a couple of each other unless someone dies, then they're going to be way behind. But it's likely that all these runs are going to be very close. Again, abusing that thing where you can get real up close to those piranha plants and not die. But man, these runners are on amazing pace. Wow.
So Milian is leading right now, but they're all very close together. Mars is doing like...
Go ahead, Leon.
Mars is he's doing everything perfect, but as you might see, he's still behind just from the power-up grabs. That's how optimized this game is. If you lose a little bit of time, it's really hard to catch up, especially at how good these runners are.
And you're seeing all these players slow down at the end to avoid that 3 on the timer, to avoid those fireworks, but this is insane. All these runners are on amazing pace.
Are they able to do 5?
Maybe. You saw Miniland's screen go black, and then Jeremy's, and then JT Knott's. It looks like they're all 1 frame rule apart, which is that mechanic explained earlier. They're likely going to be going for that 2-frame wall jump.
Miniland gets it, and JT actually misses it, but Jeremy and Miniland got it. And they're doing basically the same strats as they did in Warpless.
Not going for double fast excel, very difficult trick. We saw Miniland practicing earlier, but unfortunately messing it up. But only loses a small amount of time. So now we're going to see if runners challenge Bowser. Depending on if they challenge Bowser, this could be the difference.
Bowser, please.
Miniland can sub 5. Miniland can sub 5.
He got sub 5. Miniland got a sub 5.
Jeremy dying to Bowser, no. JT not challenging it. Oh my gosh, and Mars only losing second place because he took damage. Very, very close runs. Minio with a final time of 4:59.6. JT Not with a 5:05.19. Mars with a 5:06.75, and then Jeremy is just finishing out his 8.4 right here. Going for Fast Excel. And dying to a cheap. Oh no.
So Jeremy only has 1 life left. But he can still get an insane sub 7. So he's gonna go for this wall jump again. This time he actually hits it. Nice.
Yeah.
Going for first fast excel. Now doing the second one because he tried to do it earlier and that's how he died to the cheap.
Those cheaps can be totally random though, and sometimes impossible to avoid. So it's just real bad luck.
Perfect water by Jeremy, I think.
Oh wow, that's very impressive. Taking it safe, just finishing out the run.
In holy P, a sub 630. So yeah.
Dang, a sub 5 is really incredible.
A sub
Congrats
5
to
for a tournament, just in general by playing, is crazy, and doing this in a tournament is very, very good.
Just to give some perspective, Cosmic, who's the current SMB 90% world record holder, once did a stream where he did 180% run, and I believe only around 25 of them were subs.
And he's the world record holder.
Currently who's likely the best player in the world for this game, only had about 1 in 4 consistency at sub 5. And now we see Miniland pulling that off in a race, which is truly incredible. Man.
That is very impressive. Impressive times by Morris and JT Nod, and especially Jeremy. So I think we can. If you have anything else to say, Color, or we could wrap this up and continue with the next game, which I'm not actually sure what it is.
But yeah, I think that's all from me and Leon. So thanks everyone for getting in that $20 donation to help finish up, or that whole donation incentive to get this 80% run to happen. Incredible time for Miniland, very good times for JT and Mars as well. And Jeremy had an amazing Warpless run as well too. So
yeah, Jeremy's almost 19.0x was crazy as well.
Yeah. So congrats to everyone, but I'm gonna go ahead and be signing off and saying bye. So thanks everyone for watching. Bye.
Leon Toast is saying bye as well. Bye boys and girls.